Day by Day Kids Bible, Day 46. A Night Fight. Judges 7. Now the enemy army camped in a valley. Gideon and his men camped near a small river. God told Gideon, "You have too many men. I don't want them to say they saved themselves. I don't want them to say they won because they're so strong. So tell them that anyone who is scared may go home." Gideon told his men to go home if they were scared, so 22,000 of them went home. "You still have too many men," said God. "Take them down to the water." So God took his men to a small river. He led them to a drink to get He let them get a drink there. "Watch them drink," said God. "Some men will put the water in their hands, then they'll lap it up like a dog. Others will get down on their knees. Then they'll drink the water right from the river." God, Gideon watched. 300 men lapped the water out of their hands. The others got on their knees. God said, "Take the 300 men who lapped water. Let the others go back to their tents. I'll save my people with 300 men." Now Gideon and his men were in the hills. The enemy camp was down in the valley. That night, God told Gideon, "Go down to the camp. Take your servant. Listen to what the people are saying. Then you won't be afraid to fight." So Gideon took his servant down the hill. The valley was full of enemy men. There were more camels than you could count. They were like sand on the beach. Gideon and his servant walked very quietly. They went to the edge of the enemy camp. Then they listened. They heard a man talking to his friend. "I dreamed about bread," said the man. "A big round loaf rolled into our camp. It hit our tent so hard the tent fell down." "That dream is about Gideon," said the other man. "God is going to let Gideon win." Gideon heard all this. He worshipped God. Then he went back to his camp. He called to everyone, "Get up. God is going to let us win." He made his men get into 3 groups. He gave each man a horn. He gave each man a jar. In each jar was a stick with fire burning on it. "Watch me," said Gideon. "I'll lead, you follow. Do what I do. I'll blow my horn, then you blow yours." Gideon told his men to shout these words, "For God and for Gideon." They went down into the valley. They came to the enemy camp. The enemy army had just changed guards. All of a sudden, Gideon blew his horn. He broke his jar. The other men blew their horns. They broke their jars. They shouted, "A sword for God and for Gideon." Then they just stayed where they were. But the enemy army didn't stay. They were afraid, so they shouted and ran. They even began fighting against their own men. Then Gideon's men chased them. Enemies and judges. Judges 10 through 12. A man named Tola became the next judge of God's people. His grandfather's name was Dodo. Tola told God's people. Tola led God's people for 23 years. The next judge was Fair. He led God's people for 22 years. Jair had 30 sons. They rode on 30 donkeys. After these judges died, God's people sinned. They worshipped idols of Baal and other gods that were not real. They forgot the real God, so God was angry at them. He let enemies control the land again. God's people were having terrible trouble. Then they called for God to help them. "We have sinned," they said. "We have forgotten you. We have worshipped Baal idols." God said, "Didn't I save you from your enemies before? But you forgot about me. You worshipped idols. So I won't save you anymore. Ask your other gods to help you. If you're in trouble, let them save you." "We have sinned," said the people. "Do whatever you want with us. Just save us now." Then they threw their idols away and began following God, so God couldn't stand their sadness anymore. The enemy army came out to fight. So God's people gathered to fight too. They began to talk to each other. Whoever leads our fight will be our leader, they said. Now there was a man named Jephthah. He was a strong fighter. He was the leader of a group of men. They often got into trouble. So some of God's people went to Jephthah. Come with us, they asked. Be our leader. So Jephthah went with them. He sent a message to the enemy king. Why did you come to fight us? The king sent a message back. Your people took my land many years ago. Now I want it back. So give it back in peace. Jephthah sent a message back to the king. God's people did not take your land. They came out of Egypt. They traveled. They tried to pass through your land, but your king wouldn't let them. In fact, your king marched out to fight God's people. So God gave your land to his people. Jephthah went on. We'll keep whatever God gave us. Besides, God's people have lived in your land for 300 years. Then Jephthah asked, Why didn't you take it back before? I didn't do anything wrong to you, but you're doing wrong. You are trying to fight against me, so let God be the judge between us. This time the king didn't listen to Jephthah's message, so Jephthah took his men out to fight. God made Jephthah win. Jephthah led God's people for 6 years, then he died. The next judge was Ibzan. He had 30 sons and 30 daughters. He led God's people for 7 years. Then he died. The next judge was Elon. He led for 10 years. Then he died. The next judge was Abdon. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons. They rode 70 donkeys. This judge led for 8 years. Then he died.